All right, guys, well, thanks for attending. As I said, it's going to be a quite informal session, but if you do have questions as we go through, please just butt in. I'm more than happy to answer as we go along. But also, if you want to wait till the end, just wait till the end, okay? So I'm going to just share my screen at the moment. Hopefully this will work okay. Can everybody see the presentation?
Yes.
Yep.
Great. So as Jackie mentioned, and as I mentioned previously, we've got a project called the Dark Sky Nation, which we are trying to get Wales recognised internationally by the International Dark Sky Association for its dark skies. Now, the first question really that springs to mind is, what are dark skies? Well, dark skies are areas which are free from light pollution. Now, there's not many of those really left in the world, unfortunately. And over the last 100 years, we have kind of lost the majority of the night sky. And in fact, there are very few places in the world today where you've got high regions of population that can see the Milky Way. So when we think of Wales in particular, Wales is quite fortunate in this respect because although people are being deprived of the night sky, you've only got to walk or drive a short distance in our country to actually see some magnificent views of the night sky. And out of curiosity, does anybody recognize where this picture might have been taken?
No.
It is Brinkethly, yes. Well done. This was a picture we took a few years ago when we were running a solstice event. So it's a bit of a cheat. It's a composite image, but this is what the Milky Way actually looked like from Anglesey. So it's quite a spectacular view on the island sometimes. But with the Dark Sky Nations project, we are aiming to extend the protection across our entire country, but also provide opportunities for businesses like yourselves to take advantage of the dark skies. Because when in reality, it's a free resource. So why not take advantage of what's above our head? And in the process, protect something that's quite precious for future generations. Now, this process has already begun in Wales with a number of dark sky sites protected, and these are dark sky parks and reserves. And there are 3 in Wales currently, which are the Allan Valley and the Brecon Beacons, which are dark sky, Allan Valley's Dark Sky Park, Brecon Beacons and Snowdonia are dark sky reserves. But there are plans for further smaller areas to be protected as well. And most of you are probably aware across the north of Wales with Danny Robertson and ourselves initially, we've got Anglesey, we've also got the Llŷn Peninsula and the Clwydian Range looking to undertake something called dark sky community status, which then gives us another big swathe of the northern part of the country protected. Down in the south, you've also got Gower and Pembrokeshire interested in undertaking these community status as well. But there's also another slightly less formal classification system that's in place. And this is a UK system called Dark Sky Discovery Sites. And Dark Sky Discovery Sites themselves actually come in 2 classifications. One is known as the Orion class, and it's kind of obvious from the name itself as to what it allows you to see, and that is the constellation of Orion. Now, even in a built-up area such as Cardiff or Wrexham, you can still see Orion in the night sky. So you can have these discoveries, dark sky discovery sites or DSDSs, within built-up areas. And the idea behind that was to get people just looking up. So finding somewhere where they could go in a local park or something, which is away from direct street lighting, and then just look up and start to enjoy the night sky. But there's also the Milky Way class. And as the name again suggests, the Milky Way has to be visible from these locations. Now, when you look at this map on the right-hand side, you can see that South Wales is quite heavily populated. And that's for one unfortunate simple reason, I'm based in South Wales, and we do a lot of dark sky discovery site stuff down here. But when you look in the north has some of the darker skies. You've got Anglesey, parts of Anglesey and Llyn, and obviously Snowdonia, which are fantastic. And there's great opportunities for these DSDS sites to be spread amongst them. But you've also got the Cambrian Mountains, which is one place that has really started to embrace dark skies. And more recently, they've now signed up 100 businesses, which are B&B based mainly, that have accommodation associated with their dark sky discovery sites. So there's an immediate business opportunity when these dark sky discovery sites become available. So the key to this is just taking advantage of dark sky statuses. On Anglesey, you've got Snowdonia on your doorstep, but Anglesey itself and the AONB there, we work with quite a lot and meant them on. I also know of many locations that have extremely dark skies and can take advantage of having a dark sky discovery status, for instance. Now, it's also a great opportunity to hold on to those visitors, because obviously, especially with this COVID situation at the moment, we're all looking for new business opportunities, and this dark skies opportunity is one that's a free resource. So you've got this chance to hold on to the repeat custom that you've had in the past, keep them there for a little bit longer, or in fact, bring them back during the shoulder months, because astronomy is best done between the months of September and March. It can extend, and it will extend through to May, and then again from July. The only month we can't really operate any kind of dark sky activities is June, because unfortunately the skies just don't get dark enough. But throughout that 11-month period, you can offer a whole day experience, which is something that a lot of our customers today are looking for. And these customers are not just anoraks who love dark skies. Now I can put my hand up and call them anoraks because I'm one of them. But what we find is that we're getting a lot of families and professionals actually attending dark sky events. And the family aspect is mainly down to the educational needs now of the children. The parents are realizing that they can provide educational holidays or breaks, and this fits in very nicely with the dark sky offering, because obviously dark skies are linked directly to astronomy, and astronomy is the father of all science. But the main thing is the extension to, press the wrong button then, is the extension to the whole day experience, because you could spend the day out in the beach, in the mountains, in a town, but then come back, have a meal, and go out and enjoy the dark skies. Now, as I said, the dark skies are best delivered during the shoulder months, mainly because it's an earlier start for stargazing. So from September onwards, you can go outside from 9 o'clock and enjoy several hours of dark skies before coming back to your B&B or hotel or other accommodation. So it's something to think about. In the summer, we have some really nice astronomical events, which range from the presence of the Milky Way through to meteor showers. And again, we get guests who continually come back year after year just to watch the meteor shower from a dark location. So when you start to think about the direct opportunities of organizing events, then there are people who are already doing this in Wales. Some of them are extremely successful, like the star party that we get in Mid Wales called Solar Sphere. This is run by a guy called Pete Williamson, who is based, well, he's in Shropshire actually, on the border near Oswestry. But he does run this every year near Bilthwells, and it's grown. It started off very small with about 40 people attending, and in the last going off, which was 2019, unfortunately, they had over 400 people staying for a weekend. So these things start to grow. You've also got Astrocamp, which is a biannual experience, again based in South Wales in the Brecon Beacons, but is a model that can be expanded to any location. You also have the national parks, which run annual events. And in fact, the Brecon Beacons run events on a quarterly basis and have done for the last 8 to 9 years. Snowdonia also run events quite regularly now with Danny and the team up there. You've also got new ones starting to come online, like the Allan Valley Stargazing Festival, which is a purely online event this year to take advantage of the COVID audience that we have at present. But there's also been events run on Anglesey. We ourselves, in conjunction with Mentamon, run several events a couple of years ago, which were highly successful. So there is a thirst for this. And also when you look at the other AOMBs in the area, there's great opportunities there to expand and run guided night walks, or even just typical stationary planetarium show, stargazing shows. But you also got the opportunity to take advantage of planetarium. Now, Dartgard Wales has its own planetarium, which goes across the country, but there are planetarium based throughout the UK. And these are great little portable domes that can be set up in a community hall in a sports centre. We've actually done it in Beaumaris Sports Centre a couple of years ago with Mentamon. And these can attract large audiences, and they can then protect you from the weather. Because let's be honest with everyone, Wales doesn't have the greatest track record of having clear skies. And we know this from bitter experience over the years, that you do have to plan for the unexpected. And having some kind of talk or backup plan is always key to keeping your audience happy. But one thing that we do know from experience is that if you are communicating on a regular basis with your customer base, then there's no issues at all when the weather does turn out to be quite normal in Wales. But there are other business opportunities that you can do. For example, people have inquired with us over the last 12 months, businesses who are looking to diversify, about equipment hire. Now, you can buy telescopes quite cheaply these days, if you can find them, because over lockdown, I think everyone in the UK has gone and bought themselves a telescope because they're like hen's teeth at the moment. But a good telescope, which is generally a Dobsonian type telescope, which is something very simple you can just put outside and start observing with very quickly, is a maximum price of about £300. And you could recoup those costs through the hire to your guests. And a typical hire cost is around about £25 per night. So you can recoup your cost quite quickly on the purchase of a telescope. But probably the easiest and cheapest way of providing things for your guests are a pair of binoculars. Most people have binoculars hanging around anyway for bird watching and wildlife. But you can use those binoculars and turn them to the night sky, because the night sky itself is just another part of the natural world. And all you were doing with a pair of binoculars and a telescope is just gathering more light than your eye can see. So you bring out a lot more detail. And you can get a good pair of binoculars for about £50. But one thing that is essential that guests have, if you are starting to look at this dark skies as a potential income stream, is to provide them with information. And you can provide them with star guides or star maps, or just push them towards free apps. And there are a number of free apps available online. But the star maps themselves are also free. It's only going to cost you a couple of minutes on a search engine and a couple of printed sheets. That way, you've got ready information which can be updated on a monthly basis to show what's in the night sky at your particular location. But one other thing that's highly important when you start looking at the night sky is not to have any kind of white light nearby. Red torches or red lights are key, because you have something called dark adaptation. So when you go outside and you look up at the night sky, your eyes slowly adapt to the conditions around you. So it takes about 20 minutes. Now, if you go and turn on a white light in any time of that period, then you start the clock again. You've got to go back to ground zero and begin dark adaptation. But a red light minimizes that effect. So having some simple red torches in the building, or having some red cellophane on the lights of the building, will significantly improve your visitor's experience of the night sky. And again, you can always hire these things out a couple of pence an evening or wherever to cover the cost of batteries and the purchase of the torch itself. Now, the torches, and I'm going to hold my hand up here, being a bit naughty, you can buy them in Tesco's for £1 and just get a very simple torch and then walk down the aisle and borrow one of the red markers and just colour the lens red before leaving. Or if you want, you can buy the pen as well, but I'm sure Tesco's can accommodate us for a pen. But that little bit of red makes all the difference. But one of the things that we've really found over the years is the amount of people that turn up for a dark sky experience wearing a t-shirt. Like you can see in this picture, you've got my colleague Martin just in shirt sleeves. It gets cold. Even in the summer, it can get cold. And in fact, one of the evenings we had in previous years, July evening, actually got down to -1 in the Brecon Beacons. So people are always turning up wearing inappropriate clothing. It's a way of generating an income for us. We can offer them warm clothing, hats, gloves, jackets. Now, mostly in this COVID era, sharing clothing is not the best idea. So we've had to withdraw from that. But once we pass the COVID experience, it's again something that you could provide guests. And the other thing to bear in mind as well, guests could be out for a long time. So providing warm drinks, some snacks is another potential income source for you as well. So we started to look at what you can do. Now we need to take advantage of those statuses. Now, currently, as I mentioned previously, Wales has 20% of its night sky already protected, and this is only going to increase over the coming years. A lot of these places already hold events. If they don't, it's worth having a conversation with them, teaming together and having a collaborative approach on events. Because a lot of people do travel to attend events, and a good case for this is the ones that are currently running the Brecon Beacons. These quarterly events attract up to 200 people at a time, and they're traveling from all over the country. In fact, a lot of our visitors come from over the border, London, Birmingham, Coventry, some of the big cities, to come to these events. They stay overnight. So if you're an accommodation provider, you know there's an event going on, or you want to start to work to put events on, then talk to your local attractions, your local national parks, your AUMBs, and start to think about how you can work in this collaborative way, because working in a collaborative way minimizes risk. It lowers your financial outgoings and it minimizes the risk of any kind of financial loss. Now, again, to mitigate any potential financial losses, bring in experts. And there are a number of companies out there today who can offer these services, including Dark Sky Wales, but there's also free services available. You can tap into the astronomical societies who have a network of speakers who can come along and provide astronomical talks for the cost of a cup of tea or the charge of a few pounds for fuel to get to you. So take advantage of those groups. They love talking about astronomy. There is one slight caveat to that. Those groups, although they have astronomical equipment, are a little bit precious about the general public using it, because after all, it is their equipment, and if it gets damaged, it's not insured. So if you're going to go down the route, it may sometimes be more economical to bring in an expert whose equipment has been insured, has run these events and has got experience, but doesn't mean you have to. Another thing to bear in mind is that if you have accommodation and you have land which is in a dark area, then why not host your own stargazing weekends or stargazing midweek breaks? And we have actually partnered up over the last few years with a couple of companies and a couple of accommodation providers in the South Wales area, and began doing this, and they are proving quite successful. In particular, couples weekend breaks are one of the leading products that we have at the moment, where you're getting people coming from London mainly, but also worldwide, taking advantage of having these packages interwoven together, where the accommodation is provided and the stargazing takes place at that accommodation. So it's something to bear in mind when moving forward. But one of the great things about planning for experiences is that astronomy has tables that will give you a good 100 years advance notice of anything that's going to occur. So planning really is quite easy for an astronomical event. The only problem is the good old Welsh weather. But you also get some events which occur kind of out of the blue. And these are comets. Now, did any of you see the comet back in 2020? Comet Neowise. It was quite a bright, this comet actually on the picture here, it was quite a bright comet that was visible for nearly 8 weeks. And during that 8-week period, our Facebook page saw a reach of 5.4 million. That's quite a significant following for one particular event. One of the other things to bear in mind about comets, they're always seen as a portent of doom. So 2020 and a lovely bright comet really did do it hand in hand this year, last year. But these celestial events, the majority of celestial events are predictable, like meteor showers, eclipses, planetary conjunctions. Comets sometimes are predictable. Can any of you think of a comet that comes around periodically? It's probably the most famous astronomical thing in the sky. Halley's comet, yeah. Now that's got a period of 76 years, so we've got a while to wait for that one. But we do get these interlopers in between, and unfortunately, there's a bit of short notice to see those ones. But meteor showers are predictable. Meteor showers themselves are associated with cometary debris, so there's always this kind of nice link to them. And meteor showers tend to occur between September, say August. We go back to August because the Perseids is probably the better one, all the way through then to the January period. And we get some really fantastic meteor showers. The Leonids in November and the Geminids in December are great opportunities to get people out. And of course, Sod's Law this year, we had clear skies, but no audiences. And yeah, so we did get some lovely meteor showers. Eclipses are another one. And if we get a solar eclipse in the UK, you're going to have an influx of visitors from all over the world. And there is an actual partial solar eclipse in 2021. Hopefully we'll be able to lock down with it to enjoy it. You also get these planetary conjunctions, and back in December last year, we had something known as the Great Conjunction, which was the first time in nearly 800 years that the planets Saturn and Jupiter came close together and looked at one particular bright object in the sky. Happened to be near Christmas, so it got termed the Christmas star. So these are things you can play on, but playing on them allows you to have more of a social media impact, because having a nice headline, a nice story with something to look forward to really does generate an interest. And as I said, we had 5.4 million reach over the period of this particular comment, and that reach is still maintained around about 1 million today with other astronomical events. Oh, sorry, come back one. But more importantly, the further north you are, the more chance you get of seeing aurora. And there's aurora being viewed from Anglesey quite regularly over the last few years. Not so much so now in South Wales. We've had a couple of episodes in the last 18 months. But the further north you are, the more chance you got. I think the last time aurora was seen was, again, back in December on Anglesey. So take advantage of them. Jump on any kind of social media you see, and you can start promoting what's going on and how you can accommodate those guests. Preparing your business though for dark skies is actually quite easy. Now, the first thing you want to do is evaluate your business. Have a look at how you can improve your dark sky friendly nature of the business itself. That may just be changing the way lighting is angled. So instead of having security lighting pointing out, just have them pointing down and angled correctly as the IDA guidelines provide. Maybe even changing your lights to red bulbs. Now, there is a cheaper alternative to doing that, and that's just having red cellophane. Just putting cellophane over the lights themselves, which cost pennies on Amazon or eBay, and you've transferred your data, your accommodation into a dark sky friendly one. And it's very cheap to do. It's very easy to do, and it's very easy to remove after you've had a dark sky session. Recommend activities that you feel comfortable running. There's no point going out and say, right, we're going to go and view the Andromeda Galaxy. If you haven't got a telescope, you haven't got binoculars, and you don't know where you're looking. Feel comfortable about what you are looking at. And feeling more comfortable doesn't mean you've got to become an astronomy expert. It just means you're going to go online every now and again, look at a few videos that are out there and see if they are visible from your location. And that could just be moon watching. Become a bit of more of a moon watcher. Say, look, we got this particular phase of the moon where you can see the lunar X or the lunar V. It's ideal from our location. Come along and view it. Or it could be that you got the meteor showers. And say, look, meteor showers are great from towns and cities, but absolutely spectacular from a dark sky location. And we have sun lounges that you can lie down on and enjoy the night sky from behind. Be aware of your audience as well, because your audience doesn't necessarily have any ideas on equipment. They just want to come and see a dark sky. And to actually augment that visit, buy a magazine. £5 for a magazine called The Sky at Night, which will provide you with interesting articles, but also star charts. These are very, very simple things to do. You can also get people in like Dylan, actually, to come and take pictures of your buildings, because believe it or not, your building provides a fantastic foreground for the backdrop of the night sky. You get some wonderful promotional images that you can stick on your social media, on your website, and start advertising. This is what you can see. This is what you can do from our location. If you do have equipment, and you're comfortable using that equipment, then offer some training on it to people who arrive. Dobsonian telescopes are a very easy thing to grab, put down, and learn how to use very, very quickly. It does take patience and time to learn it yourself, but once you've got that little bit of knowledge, passing it on to a person who has little knowledge but very interested in the subject becomes an easy thing to do. But for most of all, preparing your business is cheap, and especially in these difficult times, doesn't cost hardly anything to engage with a new audience. And there have been real success stories. Now, Wales has unfortunately fallen behind with its dark skies and engagement with business over the years. And in particular, when you look at the Brecon Beacons area, which was the first dark sky internationally dark sky place in Wales, they never engaged directly with business to work to see what their needs were. But Northumberland took a different approach. Northumberland, before they put an application into the International Dark Sky Association, consulted with business. Businesses told them what they needed, and from that, we had the birth of a number of dark sky friendly businesses. And in fact, one of the real great success stories is Kielder Observatory. Now, that's in a really dark area in Northumberland, within the forest there, has pristine dark skies. but it's extremely popular visitor attraction.
For SMRs is being considered for this.
Oops, sorry guys.
Time. It was difficult, but Crederi hasn't shouted at me, so
but
what's that?
I don't know. Someone's recording something. But when you look at Kielder have a fixed capacity, so their capacity, when it's reached, they actually feed that out to a growing number of astronomical locations around them. So you've got a group of astronomers now who run businesses which spin off from the overflow of Kielder. These in turn feed into the local economy, and over the last several years, they've seen a significant economic impact. There's £25 million in 2017 alone come from the benefit of dark skies. This has employed 450 people directly in dark sky related jobs. So you can see they work. And as a result of this, there's more observatories springing up around the area in the area now. You've got Battlestead Observatory, which is coming online, which is attached to a pub. You've got Grasholm Observatory, which was run by the original director of the Kielder Observatory. That was set up during the COVID experience, and they had quite a successful start before being closed down with the COVID restrictions again. But you've got all these significant impacts, and the spin-offs from it are great. They've also got a dark sky friendly premises registration scheme for businesses that are interested in dark skies but have to reach a certain level of attainment to be given this certification. Is that something that we should be doing in Wales? Personally, I think yes. There's a number of businesses out there that are up to the mark and can aspire to achieve it in future as well. But one of the things that we find as a business ourselves is that 90% of our customers come from outside of Wales. Even Northumberland have 84% of their visitors not from the region. So you're bringing in a lot of customer, and a lot of customers, by the very nature of what we're doing, stay overnight. So they're there for at least 2 days and 1 night. The only drawback, as we said, is the weather. Oops, gone too far again, is the weather. And you've got to be, as a business, able to be flexible with these visitors. So the customer needs, really, from an astronomical perspective, is firstly, they could be coming back late. So they could be coming back 1, 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Just accommodate them. They may want warm drinks and packed lunches. This is something that you can charge, and it's something that they are going to want. Have the dark sky friendly lighting and appropriate materials. But also be aware that there are some drawbacks. When people are booking dark sky accommodation, they will tell you it's for a stargazing experience. And this particular type of stargazing experience may be cancelled. If it is cancelled, then we will want to cancel our booking. But what we find with those customers is they want to cancel it at that time, but they want to rearrange it for a different day. So you're not losing the custom, you're just moving it. And those customers will know generally around about 48 to 72 hours beforehand if the event is going to be running or not. And if the event has to be cancelled, then just tell them, unfortunately, we can't give you your money back, but we will rearrange, and be upfront. That's all they require, is being upfront and inform them of what is going on. Now, with your world or potential worldwide customers, there is slightly different. Obviously, they're coming for a time-sensitive vacation. If dark skies events are cancelled at that particular venue, then be aware of any other dark sky activities that are going actually taking place around your location. That way, you can offer them a backup, an alternative to what they would have had. There's also then the potential for the online material. So if the weather is bad, have these videos, these free videos online, which are available from the potential vendor anyway. And if you want to, we've got a free stock of those on our Dark Sky Wales YouTube channel you could use. Also, a lot of the ways that we have mitigated the impact of the weather is to provide talks. And as long as a customer is aware that the dark sky evening could be cancelled due to inclement weather, but the talk is going ahead, they are happy to continue with the booking. So just be aware of what they want, how they are going to react to bad weather, and potentially just be a bit more flexible with this type of customer. But one of the benefits that we have seen, especially over the last 2 years, is that there's a massive impact from the media. It's known as the Brian Cox effect, unfortunately. So anyone know Brian Cox, he's always on the telly for one thing or other. And he has had a big impact, really, on people's interest in the night sky. But there's also a lot of mainstream media now, which are regularly on a daily basis publishing dark sky or stargazing or astronomy articles, like Forbes, The Telegraph, and The Lonely Planet. They're all continuously doing these things. There are a number of YouTube channels now dedicated to astronomy and stargazing. From a social media perspective, it's a marketer's dream, because all you got to do is keep on tagging these and forwarding them onto your own social media, highlighting what's actually happening. And you can schedule posts for several weeks in advance, especially if you're looking to generate interest in an activity or an event that you've got in the pipeline. But it also allows you to encourage your guests to leave stargazing posts on their social media and tag you in. It's a lot of cross promotion going on then, which really does bolster an audience. And to give you an idea of how easily and quickly you can build an audience, this time last year, Dark Sky Wales had 15,000 followers on Facebook. Today we've got 42,000. So we've gathered 27,000 followers during a pandemic. So we've done quite well out of posting and reposting other materials, not just our own, but others that are out there. But one thing I would suggest doing as well is looking for stars, and I mean this from a fame point of view, not stars in the sky, that have an interest in stargazing, because you can tag them in occasionally, and every so often you may get a retweet for them, which really bolster the flow of traffic to your social media. And there are plenty of them out there. Brian Cox will occasionally retweet something, but believe it or not, Stacey Solomon's father is an astrophotographer. So try tagging in Stacey Solomon on a regular basis. You never know, a father might pick it up and run with it. So I hope you've enjoyed the talk, guys. And if you do want to contact me, my details are on here, and I'm happy to help as much as I possibly can. But just one thing to take away from today, I hope, is that Dark Skies is a free resource. It's there for everybody. And it's a heritage that we need to protect, but also use. So thanks again. And has anybody got any questions?
Yeah, well, thanks, Alan. That was great. Just to say that one of the places I used to stay at when you could travel in Spain, they sort of gone into those, well, like balloons, moon gazing stars.
Yeah.
And they seem to be expanding at a rapid pace. I mean, they don't seem much cheaper than the normal accommodation, but they certainly seem an area which might be worth looking at.
Yeah, the glass roof ones, or the glass bubble ones, is it?
Yeah, they're just like, well, they just got transparent, it's just plastic, really.
Yeah.
You know, in the daytime they're shielded because obviously it's very hot, but at night they open them up and people just sleep in those areas.
Yeah, I know a guy from Bristol who supplies them.
Wow.
What cost are they sort of expensive then for?
To be honest, I've never really looked into the cost of them, because the only reason I know he sells them is because I bought a planetarium dome from him. And as I went there, I just seen this massive glass looking structure, clear things. And you've seen, yeah, they sell them to restaurants at the moment.
Wow.
as these bubbles for eating and dining. So that's why I was aware of them. But they also use them quite a lot in Iceland as well for accommodation to enjoy the aurora. So it is an opportunity. There's opportunities everywhere with the night sky. And I said with Spain, we run a trip to Spain once a year when we're allowed out of the country. And the Spanish have really started to take on board astronomy and stargazing. And there's a number of observatories out there that enjoy it and make quite a lot of money out of it.
Good. This has nothing to do with Brexit, but I couldn't help noticing the first slide about European funding. If that funding was to dry up, would there be other funding to readily step in and replace the funding?
That's one thing I can't answer, Will, unfortunately. This project is supported by European funding, and that ends at March the 30th, unfortunately. So beyond that, I'm not aware of any funding that's available just yet.
Okay.
That's a difficult one, isn't it, Alan? Because we're talking to, we've got two different projects basically here today. We've got Dark Sky Nation one, which is the one that you've just presented as part of what you're supposed to be doing in raising awareness to dark sky and how businesses and communities can take advantage of that. And then we've got the transnational one that we have our European friends joining us as well, which is developing that product even further. And I thought that this would be an ideal opportunity for people to actually listen and learn a little bit more about what dark skies actually is and what can be done with it, and people working together more than anything. And I'm sure that Welsh Government, through, there will be money for tourism. There's got to be, especially after COVID and COVID recovery and so forth. I'm sure there will be opportunities in the future. I thought it was great, and thank you very much for that. And I'm sure that everybody else enjoyed it. But what's come through chat is great. Peter has to go for his COVID jab now, so thank you so much, Peter, for giving me the time. Yeah, it's really nice to see you. Sorry?
Alan, that was fantastic. Thank you very much indeed.
Oh, thanks, Peter, and good luck with the jab.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Yeah,
bye.
You take care.
Will do.
We've also got, I'm not quite sure, but we have a partner in Austria, and he made them stay Krian with the time. So he thought it was now, but they prepared a short film. I'm not sure whether he's actually going to be joining us. I have asked him if he joins us in the next 5 minutes. He's going to gate crash Alan, because he's got a little film that we've produced. So I'm not sure if anybody else has got any questions that they want to ask Alan, or whether they'd like to ask any of our Lithuanian friends any questions. We were joined by Estonia, but she's gone somewhere. So, all right, okay. Modestas is asking something in the chat. How many approximate nights do you have with clear skies per year?
Well, apparently, according to the Met Office, Wales gets about 189 clear nights a year. I have my doubts.
Yeah.
Alan, I'm wondering where you go in Spain, actually.
There's an observatory there called the Griffin Observatory. It's privately run. It's only a small observatory, but it's based in an area called El Boche in Andalusia. So it's about 2 hours north of Malaga, or an hour from Seville Airport.
Okay.
Brilliant. It's a brilliant location. It's up in the mountains, so it's quite dark there.
I used to live out in Spain, and there is an observatory quite near to where we lived. It's in the Alpujarras region near Granada. Yeah,
that's a big observatory.
Oh no, there's a tiny one as well in the mountains near us. A very tiny one. It's near the village of Almejija.
Is that a privately run one?
It could be.
Yeah, because you got the large one there as well, which runs trips, organized trips. You also got observatories on La Palma as well. So there's quite a lot going on with Spain.
There's the big one in Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, there's loads of them. Spain's got loads of observatories. It's because of the climate. They get well, a few more clear nights than us.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere is a little bit drier as well.
Yeah, we could see the Milky Way from our farm, many nights of the year.
Oh, it's astonishing. One of the best pictures I've taken of the Milky Way is actually been from the mountains in Andalusia. It's breathtaking.
Yeah.
And the reason why the Milky Way looks so much better in Spain is because you're closer to the equator. So you're closer to the celestial equator as well, which allows you to see a larger part of the southern part of the Milky Way.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to see the Milky Way in its glory, you've got to go to the southern hemisphere.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we could see the Milky Way from our land in Wales until I'd lived in Spain.
Oh yeah.
Being, getting used to identifying it really and seeing it there as well.
Well, yeah, a lot of people misidentify because it looks like a cloud. You've got this white milkiness to it, and unless you know what you're looking at, you just pass it by sometimes. But there's a couple of constellations, especially in the summer months, where you can draw a triangle between the three of them, and they're called Aquila, Lyra, and Cygnus. And the three bright stars here are called Deneb, Altair, and Vega. And it forms a triangle. It's called the Summer Triangle. And within that Summer Triangle, you've got the Milky Way. Another one, especially from around about August time, early August, you can see something called the Teapot. And it looks like a teapot. And that's the constellation of Sagittarius. And right in the center is the heart of our Milky Way. So it's beautiful. The Milky Way is beautiful, but it can even be seen in the winter. So if you get a clear sky, which is not going to happen this weekend, but if you could get a clear sky, just look for the constellation of Cassiopeia, which is like a W shape. And that's roughly above your head at the moment. And that W shape has the Milky Way running through it. But the winter Milky Way differs from the summer Milky Way because we lie within it as a star system. And as we're looking towards it in the summer, we're facing the Milky Way, the core of the Milky Way. But in the winter, as our planet is going around the sun, we're facing it in a different direction. So we're facing out. So we're looking at the spiral arms of our galaxy. So although it can be seen, it is a lot fainter to actually visualize.
Yeah, it's fascinating, isn't it? I mean, it was so light last night. I found it hard to sleep. But it doesn't help me because I've got the neighbour behind me who's got chickens and geese, and he's got a big light on all night. So that's not doing much for black skies, is it? So I think
that's the moon, Jackie. The moon's a pain in the backside.
Well, do you know what? But I was looking out the window at 2 o'clock in the morning thinking, where is that light coming from?
Well, basically, what the moon is doing is reflecting sunlight.
Oh,
And
wow.
you're getting 7% of the sun's light reflected off the surface of the moon. From an astronomy point of view, if you want to look at dark sky objects, the moon is an absolute pain in the backside. But it's something that the general public love looking at. So from a business perspective, we've actually shied away over the years from running anything around a full moon time. But we've had so many requests for people just to come and look through a telescope to see the moon that we now have to open up that part of the month as well for people to come and observe.
Well, that's got to be good. Fair play.
It is, yeah. And then also, you've got the anniversaries of the Apollo missions. You've had, obviously, Apollo 11's 50th anniversary is already gone. But these missions went on until 1972. So you still got another year and a half, really, of when missions were going to the moon itself. And you can celebrate those by taking people out and looking at the moon on those particular dates.
You can actually see, I don't know, are they split? I don't know what they are, but sometimes you can see some quite big, shiny things, whatever they are in the sky, and you're wondering, gosh, that's strange because that's a square shape. So what are we actually seeing?
From that description, Jackie, I haven't got a clue.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were the expert here. I don't know what I'm doing, honestly.
Square bright things in the sky sound like planes crashing.
A bottle of wine, Jackie.
Hey, the wine. Do you think the wine? Oh, yeah, maybe. Well, only on a weekend. I was going to say, can you not sometimes see space stations and space?
Yeah, you got the International Space Station, which crosses, but it doesn't look square, Jackie. It's it's like a streak of light, basically.
Oh, okay.
The ISS is one of those love it or hate it things, really, because once it goes across the sky, if you've got a group of people with you, that's all you're doing is following this bloody great light going across the sky when you should be looking at other stuff.
So you could be the UFO then.
You could have found UFOs, yeah.
See?
But
there you go. You find everything on Anglesey, don't you? We're all agreed, I think.
Jackie, Jackie, I'll tell you what's handy is the night sky app. There's plenty of night sky apps because when we take the dogs out at night, there's plenty of stars here. And sometimes we'll see the very, very brightly coloured ones that sometimes aren't planets. And I've always seen stars changing colour as well. So I'll get this app out and I'll just hold it up and it'll tell you exactly what it is. So they're quite handy as well. So you know what you're looking at.
Oh, Alan's just told us in
I just put one up there. It's called Celestron Sky Portal is the best one out there.
I'll try that one.
that changing colour you see in the stars is called scintillation. And it's just from atmospherics causing the starlight to bounce around, basically.
Because I always thought it was a dying star, because people used to say years ago, oh, when it's doing that, it's dying. No.
if you remember back to school days, you had a nursery rhyme, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. It was all about recognizing the difference between stars and planets. Because stars will twinkle because they are points of light and they're distant. And as the light is hitting our atmosphere, it gets scattered, which is extremely noticeable. But planets being closer to us and being reflecting sunlight, and they appear more of a disc shape than a point source. They don't twinkle as much to the eye, so they appear steady. But even when you look at a planet through a telescope, you still see them shimmering, and that's atmospheric effects. But yeah, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is all about recognizing stars and not planets.
Sorry, can I ask us a practical question? I noticed from your Facebook page that there was meant to be an event on beginning of February in Brecon. Presumably that's being cancelled now, but I was looking at the number of guests and it says 122 guests. And I was wondering, like what happens on an event like that? Because we limited our number, it's like to 60, it's like just to make it manageable. But how do you manage with that many people?
Right, with our events, they may be saying on Facebook is 122 attending, but we limit our spaces to 40 for that particular evening.
Okay.
But we do have events where we get up to several hundred people attending. And those events are run on a round robin kind of thing. So we'd have our planetarium or we'd have an astronomical talk plus observing. So the guests are constantly moving between activities. So each activity is limited to a certain number, but they just move around over the course of 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, I see.
Now, those are large scale events and you need a good partnership involved to get those working correctly. Probably one of the largest we've been involved in was with the National Trust down in Stackpole in Pembrokeshire. We had 1,000 people there on one evening.
Wow.
Which it was a bit manic. but because we had a number of different activities running, the crowd was in constant movement. So it allows you to work with a small group and then they can then just move on to the next activity.
Yeah.
So if you plan far enough in ahead, then you can easily manage large numbers. It's just obviously don't know what's going to be like post-COVID over the next year or so with the restrictions, but I think we might be back to managing small events by September with a bit of luck. And then the larger stuff will come back in 2022.
Thank you.
I just want to welcome Bridget. I can't remember how to say your name now. Is it Birgit? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello.
Nice to see you.
Hello, everybody. I think we missed something because we thought you started 12.
It was wrong. Apologies for that. I sent another email out. There was I don't know what happened with the Zoom, but yes, no, it's okay. I have recorded it, so I can send you, or we can. I'm not quite sure how I do it, but you can access it anyway.
Okay.
But,
no problem. I listened to Alan's stories about the sky. It's very interesting. And in the end, you will summarize, and then I will go through and will know what you talked the last minutes. No problem.
Gudta said that you had a short film. I thought it might be. Are you able to show it? I thought it might be interesting to finish off with that. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Good.
Can you share the screen? I'm not sure whether you'd be able, you'll be able to share the screen. Films aren't very good. You can't show films very well, can you, on Zoom? I don't think.
It should be all right.
Yeah.
When you go to share screen, Jackie,
Yeah.
you just need to go to advanced or
Advanced.
sorry, go to basic, click on the film you want to show, and it should do it for you.
No, I haven't got it. Birgit's got it. I don't think she can share.
No, I can't.
I should be able to make you. I should be able to make you a co-host. How do I do that?
Ooh, no, you're asking.
Hang on.
Jackie, if you can open up the link, you can share it, I think. Share screen and play it. Do you want me to try?
Yeah, please, Jan. Yeah. Jan's more techie than me. No.
I'm not. I really am not.
You keep getting sent to the techie meetings.
Make it till you make it. Right, hold on now. Hi.
Leanne should be able to do this because she managed a fantastic Christmas quiz, I heard, with breakout rooms and everything. So if anybody can do it, you can, Leanne.
Okay.
No pressure, Rian.
Oh, is this all right? Okay. Is this it?
That's our film, yes.
The volume?
Yes, there is music, but mute now, yes.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. I'll just stop it there. There's another 10 minutes. We can share the link with everybody, maybe, Jackie.
Yeah, that's fine if that's okay with everybody else.
Well, we've got a taste of that, haven't we? What's in
It's beautiful Austria, beautiful Austria. We go in the winter. With all the snow. You've had more snow this year in both Austria and Lithuania?
I just wanted to tell you that the scenes of the night start in the minute 4 to 12.
Oh, right, okay.
Yes, now it's a place where you can watch the stars and the planets, and it's a film to promote holidays, astro holidays we call, and you can see the night and the pictures from the night from 4 to 12. Sorry, the film is quite long.
No, it's no problem.
Yes.
Where is 4? Where is 4 to 12? Does anybody want to see just a bit of that, or would you like the link?
We'll look at the link.
All right, okay. Well, thank you very much. So has anybody got it was lovely. Thank you so much for joining us. Has anybody got any other questions, or would you like to ask any of our European friends any questions while we're all together?
No, thanks for rubbing it in though, Jackie, that there's best snow, because I was due to go to Austria.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have 2 meters, actually.
Oh.
Huge. It's hard.
I had all my accommodation booked. And I was
30 years we didn't have so much snow.
Yeah. I know. But
the holidays were full of pulling it inside, and it was very hard. No car drive possible. Yes.
And to our European.
It's also a lovely winter space. We can ski and skate. It wasn't possible the years ago. It's also very cold.
Wow.
It's a really lovely winter we have.
And to our European friends, have you ever visited Wales? If you haven't, it was a very warm welcome to you to visit Wales, including our beautiful island of Ynys Môn. We have one of the best.
Yes, we've been to Wales, to Anglesey. We met Jackie and Rianne 2 years ago, and we're looking forward to do that again, but it won't be possible. We have so hard lockdown in Austria and bad numbers of corona. Its infections is not so. We are looking not in a good future for 21, and we hope it will get better in 22. Yes, until the summer we have vaccinates, but the AstraZeneca don't deliver as much as we need, and we can't vaccinate the people because we don't have the vaccinate dose.
Oh, yeah, I heard something about that. Oh my gosh, I wish you all the best.
Yes.
Yeah, it's taking a
and
long
we have
time.
to wait. Everything is closed, the shops, the bars, the restaurants. My children are at home since 3 months and have homeschooling, and it's not a good situation, but we have to work on that and looking forward for the next year or 23, 22.
Yeah.
But
Us too.
yes.
Yes, yeah, hopefully, and
the project are also, Jackie, we also can only talk via Zoom. We cannot meet. We cannot fix meetings. It's so frustrating.
We can't
it's frustrating.
either.
Yes.
We're in the same position in Wales.
Yes.
very frustrating.
We hear a lot about England and Wales. That's also a hard lockdown in your country. Yes.
We had 23 people online this morning with us, and I'm grateful to everybody who attended, and I'm just hoping that they would like to become involved in our project as well, in our transnational project as partners, and we can work with everybody. And Allan, you won't have you might have heard the end of Alan's presentation. Allan will be somebody who will help us deliver the project outcomes, and as Allan will as well. And I know that he'll be involved in the breakwater pack. So that'll be absolutely fantastic. We can do things online. It won't be the same, but I'm really looking forward to, you know, maybe the end of this year, beginning of next year, so that we can all get together and we can all visit and we can all share those experiences again. Because it was like, we all got online this morning. It was like, oh my God, we've been all excited, you know.
Yeah.
So we can actually see each other, because working in isolation is really hard, isn't it? Really hard. So I'm
Jackie,
yeah.
When you press stop record on all of this, if you can send me the link, I'll forward it to Eleth, and then she can edit just Alan's presentation, so we can share that and share with everybody here if they want to share that with somebody else.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do both, because I think if there's merit in obviously having the chats and the questions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the presentation as well. But Allan, for our, well, not for everybody really, Allan has recently recorded 3 sets of different presentations, really, haven't you, Allan? You did the Christmas Star, and you did another 2 for our next online meeting. So maybe we can share the Christmas Star one as well, because that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, but
so we can do that, and we can share it with everybody. Yeah, I think I'll probably have to stop the record now, I suppose, don't I, here? So yeah.
They have a mixture of backpackers and obviously then families, as Allan was saying, but also quite wealthy people who wouldn't normally go into a tent, but they do. So I think it's quite interesting to see how we could build a business on that. If everybody does collaborate, you know, say we've got the Breakwater Park, we've got the lighthouse, we got everything. Well, in Holyhead, I'm just talking Holyhead area for the moment, but obviously it spreads over the whole island. I think we could do quite a lot.
Yeah, it's such a diverse audience for stargazing. Just by looking at our figures, you see obviously the family groups all the way through to some quite wealthy individuals. But you do get quite a big target market from London. And we get quite a lot of visitors from London, mainly central London for some reason. Because it could be that bizarrely, in fact, that we work with a pub in the centre of London and run stargazing evenings once a month with them on top of the roof of the pub. It's crazy because we can't even see the sky.
Yeah, there's a lot of potential, isn't there, Allan?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive, Jackie.
This is why we were struggling because of COVID, obviously, as to how to you know, move things forward, to progress with the projects that we had. With the transnational one was very important to us because it was the first international cooperation project that we'd ever had in our 25-year history, and we wanted to make it a good one. And so it's finding ways of moving things forward now and working together, as you rightly say, to enable us to do this. And I'm very grateful to everybody, as I said before, who's joined us this morning, and we will be in touch, I think. So can I actually ask, if obviously you're all still with us, are you interested in working with us on developing this project further? Because that would be really, really great if you could.
Yeah.
Spot on. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Thank you so much. It was really nice to see you. Nice to see you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We'll talk soon.